these are my props for today's video. Roll intro. Hi everyone, welcome to Pal to Tech. Normally, when I finish a video, I am done. My mind is already on the next video. However, since I published the X Half video, I have not been able to do that. There have been a couple of things I have wanted to say. I want to focus specifically on one topic right now, and that is, should you buy this camera? Who is this camera for, and what do I think? If you are a beginner photographer and you don't know at all what the, say, exposure triangle is, you want to level up to the next stage of photography, my recommendation for those of you in that group is to not get the X Half camera. And the reason for that is because it's too limiting for beginners, in my opinion. I feel that as a beginner, you shouldn't be restricted. You should have a piece of gear that allows you to really try out all kinds of different things and has all of the features relevant and kind of critical in some ways to more advanced photography so that you can experiment with them, you can learn about them and not be confined by the gear. But probably my most significant reason why I don't recommend it is the price. We're talking $850 here, and to some of us, that is a lot of money, regardless of the amount of money that is, right? Even if you can afford it, for the same amount of money, you can go and get yourself a used X-T2 camera, and you are going to have built into this camera everything you could possibly ever need to learn all of the important concepts of photography. So now let's switch to the other opposite extreme, professional advanced photographers, or just advanced photographers that aren't professional. In other words, if you understand what demosaicing an X-Trans Processor 5 RAW file does with regard to a histogram live view versus JPEG preview mode on the rear LCD screen monitor, and the difference in how that affects your highlight slider between Capture One and, say, Adobe Lightroom Classic, you're in this group. And for those of you that can afford it, I think the X Half would be a great camera for you. The way they implement the filters and that film simulation pretending it's actual film and the restrictions around that, I think that is something everyone should try out that's been doing digital photography for a while. The X Half camera is going to give those more advanced photographers a level of control. Still, you can do a lot of the exposure stuff that you could do on the higher end cameras, but you're forced with a single aspect ratio, number one, and you're forced into a lot of other things, particularly when you put it on that film mode. It actually can sort of spark creativity. Look at Jaws, right? The mechanical shark didn't work. It was a piece of junk when they put it in the water. It caused so many problems. And because they were restricted, they had to rely on doing things like having those yellow buoy things bump up onto the water to tell you, uh-oh, the shark's coming. You don't see it. There's no CGI. There's nothing. And that made the movie so frightening. And a number of professional photographers, they don't have enough seconds in the minutes, in the hours, in the day, in the weeks to just go out and be creative. So maybe getting a camera like the X Half and the fact you've dropped $850 on it may be that jump start that could help that group of people. Now, my final group are those folks that are good enough in photography. You're probably not professional photographers, but you certainly know what the difference is between shutter speed, aperture, ISO, and all of that. Let's just say that if $850 is a lot of money for you and you already own a Fujifilm camera, I wouldn't get the X Half. I'm actually going to tell you what I think you should do in just 1 second. So for those of you in this group that do have $850 to spend, I would say yes, check it out. Take a look at it, maybe wait and rent it and see if you like it. And if you do, buy it or go to a local camera store if that's possible in your area and hold it and just take a look at it. Watch other YouTube videos. There's so many YouTube reviews that are going to come out on this camera and almost all of them are going to be better than mine. So watch those and ask yourself, will this $850 be an investment for something fun, for something creative, and for something that can push me to the next level? Now, before I give my final tip and my recommendation for all the rest of you on the fence about this, who may think that $850 is a lot of money to spend for a camera, the one that I discussed in my previous video, I want to address what's called the smartphone argument, okay? Yes, does a smartphone offer more flexibility, take actually better photos, have more options, something that's a lot more convenient since it's always with you? Yes, tick those boxes, 100%. as for me, for a smartphone, it is a hard no, okay? For two reasons. The first is that ergonomically, the way you have to hold it and use it with regard to the screen and where the lenses are, right? I mean, there's no way to flip it up. There's a lot of issues with it, okay? Number two, though, and this is actually worse and a bigger deal for me. Now, if I ever leave this world or get hit by a bus tomorrow or whatever, I want you to quote me on this when you write my obituary, okay? And here it is. Okay. A smartphone in 2025 is approximately 60 to 70% attention theft. That's what it is. Incredibly useful, but it steals a lot of your attention. This, not so much. That is the main reason why I wouldn't do that. And so I promised you the tip for the rest of you who want to get out of that creative rut. You already have a piece of gear from Fuji and you're wondering, should you get the X Half camera because of the way that it has restrictions and forces you to think more like the days of shooting film? Here's my answer. So I want you to take your existing Fujifilm camera, and I'm going to use an X-T2 for today's demo to show you this. Go into your image quality and set it to fine. No RAW files. Go down to your film simulation and just pick one. And depending upon the model of camera you have, set some of your image quality settings to pick a preference. You know, like highlight tone, kick it up +2. If you've got that, weak chrome, blue, red, whatever, experiment with that. Just set a few things like that. Or choose your favorite Fujifilm film recipe. Go into your flash settings and turn it off. I know they put an LED light on the X Half camera, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not a flash at all. It can't freeze action. It can't do a number of things. For screen setup, go into the little wrench area into screen setup where it says preview your exposure and white balance, turn that off. If you have preview picture effect, turn it off. Turn off image display. Very important. Go into DISP custom setting and untick all of these. Every single one. If you have a view mode button on your camera, set it to EVF only. This is now the view you're going to have. No information at all. And speaking of this, safety tip, I wouldn't use gaffer's tape for this because it's really strong like I just did, but maybe you could put an index card or something between it or use painter's tape. Get creative, that's the whole point. Now there's one last thing to prevent a little bit of cheating from going on, and that is you could still see the image you took through the electronic viewfinder, right, using the playback button. A lot of Fujifilm camera models don't allow you to customize the playback button. And there you go. Now, take the $850 that you saved and get yourself transportation to go to somewhere you've never been that you've always wanted to shoot, or put it toward a trip, or put it towards something where you can use this camera that you have and really be challenged or really get out there and have fun. Because at the end of the day, having fun and being creative are interlocked. It's almost impossible to be creative and to grow that way if you're not having a little bit of fun along the way, and you don't need $850 to do it. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you found today's video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I'm going to be signing off now, but have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in a new video next week. Take care.